In at number 10 is Magnum XL-200. This coaster was built by Aerodynamics and opened in 1989 as the first in the world to break 200 foot. The views from this roller coaster are absolutely incredible as you drop through the water park at Cedar Point shores and look out over the beautiful Lake Erie. The first time I rode this, I sat on the back row and went down the first drop with my hands in the air. As you do, but what a mistake that was. Honestly, I thought I'd broke my neck. The train catapults you over the first drop, and whilst the airtime hills are so much fun, I find it far more enjoyable if you firmly hold on, as in my opinion, it's pretty rough. My first on-ride photo, I had my head in my hands, making sure it wasn't going to fall off. Of course, I rode it again, for the views, but primarily a better on-ride photo. If they could somehow smooth this out, it would definitely be in my top 5. At 9 is Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper opened in 2013 and is a wing coaster manufactured by Bolliger & Mabillard, commonly known as B&M. When it opened, this coaster featured the highest inversion in the world with its wing over drop at 164 foot, which you go through super slowly straight as you come off the lift hill. It swoops straight over the park entrance through specially designed keyhole towers, which add a great near miss element. Whilst this coaster is undoubtedly smooth and again has stunning views, for me it didn't pack the punch that I had hoped. Admittedly, it was my fault, but for some reason I thought this was a lie-down flying coaster. The only flying coaster I have ridden is Galactica, formerly Air at Alton Towers in the UK. You'd think that would be perfect. With Gatekeeper being themed as a protective bird, why not make it a flying coaster so you truly feel like a bird is soaring and diving through the sky? Don't get me wrong, it's a great coaster, just not what I had thought or as intense as I had hoped. At 8 is Gemini. Built in 1978 and manufactured by Aerodynamics, Gemini is a dueling coaster that features a steel track on top of a wooden frame. You'll get sick of me saying this, but again, the views as you climb up the lift hill are amazing. This coaster is intense and so much fun. Unlike some of the other coasters in the park, I could really feel my stomach on the drops, which is a feeling that I love. When the trains are racing, it adds a whole new dimension as riders can high-five each other on the turnaround sections. Yes, it's a bit rough, but I couldn't help coming off this coaster with a huge smile on my face, whether you win or whether you lose. At 7 is Raptor. Raptor is a steel inverted coaster manufactured by B&M. When it opened in 1994, it was the tallest, longest and fastest steel inverted coaster in the world. It's situated on the midway, and if you can't immediately see it, you'll certainly hear its roar. It includes 6 inversions, 1 vertical loop and a cobra roll, the latter of which are first for inverted coasters. I found it pretty smooth. Whilst it's not one of the tallest in the park, it's fairly intense and carries its speed well throughout. The only reason it's not higher is because it's up against a pretty fierce lineup. At number 6 is Rougarou. Previously a stand-up coaster known as Mantis, the track was built in 1996 and was again manufactured by B&M. Mantis was rethemed to Rougarou in 2015 when the trains were changed to a flawless design. Rougarou was the first roller coaster I rode when I visited. Again, it's another impressive coaster to look at, especially with its huge vertical loop over the water. I love the speed and intensity of this ride, however in the second half it becomes pretty rough. I love to have my hands in the air, but for this one, holding on tight and pressing your head back firmly against the seat definitely makes this one more enjoyable. At 5 is Valravn. Manufactured by B&M, it opened in 2016 as the world's tallest, fastest and longest dive coaster. Valravn stands at an impressive 223 foot and again has absolutely breathtaking views over Lake Erie. I found this coaster beautifully smooth throughout, but particularly when sitting in the middle of a row. The only dive coaster I'd ridden prior to this was Oblivion at Alton Towers, which is commonly known as the world's first vertical drop coaster. With Valravn's drop being 34 foot higher, I expected it would be way more intense, but it wasn't. Oblivion makes my stomach drop, but with Valravn it barely moved. I don't know if this is to do with the restraints, but if it had the same kind of force as Oblivion, it would definitely be higher up my list. Just missing out on my top 3 is Maverick. It opened in 2007 and is a double LSM launch coaster manufactured by Intamin. It's a wild ride that certainly doesn't hang about. With so many twists, turns and changes of direction over water and between rocks, it really disorientates you, in a good way. The second launch is so powerful, and the lighting and effects inside the tunnel really add to the experience. The speed from this launch is short-lived as you take a pretty sharp bank turn left before being slowed down by trim brakes. This is one coaster I was really excited to ride, and the only reason it doesn't place higher is because it's not as smooth as I would like. Like I've mentioned before, I like a coaster where I can have my hands in the air throughout, and this one certainly rides better when you hold on and lean into the turns. Also, of course, I would love the speed from that second launch to last a little bit longer. My most anticipated coaster of the trip, Steel Vengeance, takes bronze. Manufactured by Rocky Mountain Construction, this hybrid giant smashed 10 world records when it opened in 2018. Picking up the Golden Ticket Award for Best New Ride, I really thought this would be my number 1, but maybe watching countless POVs got my expectations too high. Speaking of high, Steel Vengeance is the tallest hybrid coaster in the world at 205 foot, but yet again, I barely felt my stomach move on the drop. With a record 27.2 seconds of airtime, I thought I would feel like I was flying out my seat, but I didn't. I don't know if this is due to the restraints, but it just left me wanting more. In terms of smoothness, I had my hands in the air throughout, and the only area where I would say it's a bit abrupt is when it takes a sharp turn into the block brake section. Don't get me wrong, this coaster is still epic and makes for an incredible night ride. The original Strata coaster, Thrill Dragster, takes silver. Manufactured by Intamin, it opened in 2003 as the first coaster in the world to break 400 foot. Wow, this coaster takes my breath away. The launch, which takes you from 0 to 120 miles per hour in 4 seconds, is so intense. The views you creep over the top at is absolutely unbelievable, and before you know it, you're back to the station. Whilst I haven't rode King Dakar, from what I've heard, Top Thrill Dragster is the original and the best. I just hope one day I'm lucky enough to experience a rollback. Finally, taking the top spot, the beauty that is Millennium Force. Manufactured by Intamin, it opened in 2000 as the first coaster to break the 300-foot barrier. Honestly, it just has me speechless. Deservedly, it scooped up the Golden Ticket Award for Best Steel Coaster a whopping 10 times. Reaching speeds of 93 miles per hour, this drop certainly has a lot more force behind it. Within a blink, you're swooping up the 169-foot overbank turn, where you can experience a maximum G-force of 4.5, enough to cause riders to grey out, added every single time. This coaster is smooth as silk as it takes you on a journey through trees, 2 blackout tunnels and the Forbidden Frontier. Honestly, it's my favourite of all time. I couldn't help but come off speechless every countless time that I rode it. To think that this ride is 20 years old just absolutely amazes me. It will take a very special coaster to knock Millennium Force off my top spot. Intensity, smoothness, speed, she has it all. She's even got great theme music too.